Hello, beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight. I really haven't been out today. It's a breezy day, but Starlight isn't here doing her video today because it's too windy outside and too cold to make a video. And so anyway, I love you so much, and I really hope you're loving yourself the way you really should love you. God wants us to love ourselves unconditionally. So anyway, I love you, and Starlight's going to send love out to all of you out there. For those of you that don't feel love, so Starlight's going to feel love, send love out to you. I love you so much, and thank you for all of you who have been here, loving and supporting Starlight. And also, I'm reaching out to people that have joined throughout in this middle of my YouTube channel, and maybe you just recently joined me in the last couple of weeks. So thank you for everyone. Thank you for the new subscribers that are out here, and I appreciate all of you. Plus, if anyone would like to, is that you could send love donations to Starlight through my Cash App on my YouTube channel, and that I will have my information here through my Cash App, and that is here. Ping! There it is. And before I start this new topic today, which I don't think I really talked about this too much as far as the topic goes, and it's such an important message. And this is about people where, they don't feel loved. They don't feel loved. They don't feel loved by their family members, They don't feel loved by the ones that they really think they should feel loved by. Like you might have family members or a friend, and you might not be feeling the love vibe coming from them. They might be busy, doing stuff. They might have a family, So what I learned through my mentor, Infinite Waters, Rouse Smart, it's so vitally important to learn to love yourself, because we are in a stimulation, whether you understand this or not, okay? We are in a stimulation here where it's like a movie here, and there's going to be many times that people are going to say stuff to you, or people are not going to respond to you. People are going to do this to you and do that to you. And, you might call somebody up, you might text somebody, and you might not get any response back from them. And how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel when nobody responds back to you? Don't you feel kind of like not loved and not supported because they didn't even respond to you? That's why this video is so important, is to understand that you first need to learn to love yourself. And this is what Starlight is doing right now, is I am breaking free from thinking that I need other people's approval in my life to feel loved. I'm breaking free. Many times we're gonna, I don't know who you are, I don't know what you're going through, but there's a lot of lonely people out there, people that are single. And, sadly to say, there's people out there that are in relationships and they feel lonely. They don't feel loved. They could have a big family, but they don't feel loved by any of them. Why is that, Starlight? Why don't they feel loved? Well, because we are, like I said, we are in a stimulation, and there's going to be, it's hard to look at my eyes here. Your family members are going to tell you stuff or not say stuff. You're going to expect that your family members are going to reach out, and say, I love you, or reach out and say, I miss you, or reach out and say, hey, are you still alive out there? You're going to have people that are not going to respond to you like you think they're the right family. How come they're not checking up on me? Well, that's why you need to love your own self first. You need to learn that you need to love yourself. So when people ignore you, or they're helping other people out, and they're not there for you, you got to learn to accept that. And by accepting that, you're like, you know what? I love myself. It doesn't matter if they're busy with their life. It doesn't matter that they have a family of their own, because that's what happens to families, right? Being a mom myself, having kids, you know what? Boom, one's out of the nest. Boom, another one later on is out of the nest. And then there you are. I'll tell you what, it's a devastating thing as a mom or a dad, if you really was a parent that loved your kids, how lost you can feel when they're no longer in the house anymore. And mine actually happened because I was, with my son at least, my daughter wasn't there in the picture, but with my son, I was homeless. I lost everything. My car, the job, and everything else just kind of spiraled out because I had no way of getting out to work without a car out in the country. So there's no accident. I don't want you to feel bad about me because I needed that, because that was getting me prepared for days like this where I am. So it was sad that I had to let go of my son. He didn't even get married yet, He was supposed to stay with me until the day that he found the one that was going to fulfill him. But he didn't even, it was before that even happened. I'm like, son, I love you so much. You can go to work. You can have a life. I don't want you to move out of the house. I made his life really, made it feel good for him that he didn't have to go out and move out. He didn't want to move out, because we had a great relationship, and we still have a great relationship, He didn't want to move out because, life was good for him living with his mom. But, the universe had ways of mixing things up, and he had to find a place to live. A Christian family, and he was safe. And I'm so grateful that God had a safe place for him to go. But it was a sad thing. I'm like, you were supposed to be with me all until you got married. I wasn't in a rush for my kids to leave the nest. Absolutely not. Most parents are. They can't wait to get rid of their kids. Hurry up, grow up, and get out. Why did you even bother having them in the first place? Not everybody likes certain videos that I make, and I don't really, it doesn't matter. This is what it's about. You got to accept yourself. You got to accept your flaws. Not everybody's going to get you. Not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody's going to love you. You're going to have people that are, your mom, your dad, who, they might never reach out to you. You got to learn to love yourself. You got to learn, to say that, what, because we're in a stimulation, this in the matrix stuff, these things, we're going to be tested all the time. We're being tested of how did that affect you, when they don't reach out, when, you might send people money and they don't even say thank you. You don't even say thank you, hey, I know you're out there, how did you, no thank you, we gotta let that shit go. Don't let these things bother you, because see, that's what you gotta understand with this matrix. You're gonna be tested repeatedly. All the time. Expect the unexpected. You're gonna have people that you think are your closest friends, and they don't respond to you. They don't react to you. They don't reach out to you. They don't check up on you. Are they really your friends? That's what who do you really have in your circle? Are they really people that love and support you? So you really don't need those kind of people if they're not checking up on you and, responding back to you, is that you got to really protect yourself by loving yourself and say, you know what? There's people that we got to let go in our life. Now, I have a sweet person out here that does watch my YouTube. And that person really sincerely loves and supports Starlight. But you might have people out there that you thought, are you always the one reaching out to them, checking up on them? Do you feel it's like your job? Because that's what Starlight, I'm done with that. You know what? I'm done with always being the first one to reach out. Christmas is not my thing, so I don't go, hey, Merry Christmas. I'm not going to call anybody and say Merry Christmas, because most people, it's a heathen holiday. if I said that right, but I'm not even going to go into that big mess of Christmas. But the whole thing is you need to love yourself. And you might be a little, but Starlight, I got all these flaws. People see them. Who gives a blank? Who gives a blank? Guess what? They got their own shit. They got their own flaws. So it doesn't matter about, we all got flaws. I'm a Virgo. I am a perfectionist. But you know what I had to learn on this journey here? Not to be. That's why there's things on my videos. I work so hard not editing, but there's times like when I make a cooking video, I do kind of have to edit because I got to move the camera around and do all kinds of stuff so that I wouldn't want you guys to, watch all that stuff. We're not here to be perfect. You don't have to answer to anybody out there. You don't have to, chase people and to get their approval in life. You gotta love yourself, and guess what? It takes time. Most people, guess what? They're wearing a mask. They're wearing a mask. And they don't even like the mask that they're, they gotta put a mask on. When you go to your family's house, oh, you know what, I'm going to this family's house. This is how they are. So now I gotta blend in, and, I don't even like this energy, but I'm gonna wear a mask and act like I like everything. And I'm not going to tell you to go watch Dexter, but I'll tell you what, that Dexter series, I learned a lot. You know what, he taught me a lot, and that it's a serial killer, and it sounds crazy but I learned a lot. There's a lot of really important stuff that I learned in that whole, the way he thought. And some of you might not know who Dexter is, but I don't want to explain how he ended up being Dexter, but, he knew in his family, he had a hard time, like when it was picture time, they were taking pictures of the family, and I see this all the time on Canva, and it looks all so fake. It's the family, they're all together, and they're all going to get, they're going to pay for these pictures, and this is how we are, You could be in an abusive family, right? A very abusive family. But then you go in the house and you look at all the pictures, and this is what the Dexter was so crazy, is that, you could have a screwed up family, but then the family wants to get pictures taken, and you're forced to smile. And Dexter was so young. He was like a teenager and a young adult or whatever. And it was so funny because he just was plain as B, and the family's like, his stepdad was trying to teach him, Dexter, you got to smile. Why? He, and and he explained why you need to, so then he did. He just kind of, it was all fake. So I laughed my ass off because his imagination was so tripping. And I'm not here to try to get you to watch Dexter. I'm using that as an example how we are as people. You could have been that one of those family members, like even when I was growing up, we were forced to go get, and it is, and we all did. We, a new family, a step parent, my dad, my stepmother, my brothers, and their kids, step brothers, my brother, my sister, and all this, all in one, two mixed up families all together, just starting out, in this new family. And so weird. I didn't even want my dad to marry her, and but we had a fake smile. The weird thing is that where did that picture go? The whole family was together, but that never went on a wall anywhere, so it is kind of funny. People will take pictures, of people that are miserable in a family, but when you walk in the family, you're like, wow, everybody's so happy. Look at all the smiles. It's all an act. It's all an act. So this is the Hollywood. We are in a biggest Hollywood movie ever created, and you're one of the actors. But you got to learn to take that freaking mask off. You got to learn it's okay to be yourself, unapologetic. And this is what I'm learning. I'm learning right now. I don't care if my family don't call me up. I don't care if my friend checks up on me. You know, I'm being funny about my friend. He's a sweetheart. But, you know, because I love me. I love me. I love who I am, and I love who I'm becoming. I don't have to apologize to anybody for who I am. I need to accept myself. When you learn to really fully love yourself, it doesn't matter, you know, because we're always going to be tested all the time. Doesn't it feel like shit when, you know, you think somebody's going to call you up? Like, how about when your birthday is there, right? And because I'll tell you what, I celebrate the whole month of my birthday, whether, you know, anybody calls me up or not. I'm just being funny about that. Is I celebrate the whole month. It's my birthday the whole month of August, you know? But doesn't it suck when, you know, it's your birthday and in the morning you're like, oh, you know, you're waiting for people to call you up and nothing's going on with the phone? And you don't feel loved on your own birthday? You got to let that shit go. That shows that you don't really fully love yourself like you think. We don't need other people's approval. We don't need, you know, people to put a stamp approval on. Like even with me being a YouTube creator, I love what I do. I love every video I make. When I edit it and when I play it as I'm editing it, I'm like, wow, I love what I do. It doesn't matter what other people think. You got to do what you love and what you enjoy. No matter what other people think about how your video came out, you know. You know, I get a lot of people that do like my videos and do watch my videos, and I appreciate all of you. But this is what you got to do. You got to let go of expectations of other people. I expect that they're going to call me. But what if they don't? I wrote to them on my phone. You know, I texted them. There's going to be times you're going to be tested that they're not going to respond. And you'll be like, how come they didn't respond? What, they don't love me? Doesn't matter? You know, you got to love yourself for who you are. Flaws and all. Nobody's perfect out here. The ones that claim that they're perfect, believe me, they got probably more bigger skeletons than you think you got, you know? So we're not here to people please. Stop trying to people please. You know, if you're that person out there that you're always reaching out to other people, you know, why don't you flip the table around and say, you know what? I want to see when they're going to reach out to me. Are they ever going to reach out to me? Test them out. You know, do they ask you, hey, how are you? How's everything going? Are you okay? Do you need anything? You're out there by yourself. Do you need anything? Do they check up on you, or are you always the one, you know? Are you like Starlight? Make it a full-time job of checking up on all, you know, checking out, you know, when the holidays, oh, I got to call that person. Oh, call that person, call that person, call that, you know. Are you the one like Starlight does? That's Starlight. Did I get everybody? Oh, I forgot somebody. I forgot I did that. I really did. It wasn't really a, you know, it was a family member, but not, you know, family member. So you have to love yourself, even if, you know, you might have called somebody and then you're waiting, you know, you're like, oh, I can't wait. I'm excited. I can't wait to talk to them. It's been a while, you know, like I want to chat with them, see how they're doing. And they don't even, and then your imagination goes crazy, doesn't it? It's like, did I do something? That's Starlight. Did I do something wrong? Are they mad at me? It's an instant thing. Are they mad? How did we end? Like, what was the last time? Did I do something wrong? Starlight's got a guilt trip most of the time. I used to, put it that way. But you gotta let that go. They could be going through something, you know? They might have phone issues. You never know what that blank people are going through, why they didn't call you back. They might be busy. They might have a new job. Maybe the hours changed. Maybe they can't call you back right then. But there's times that people, they get lots of messages. They get so many people calling on the phone, and they still can feel alone. They might not feel loved just because one person that they were hoping to hear from didn't even respond to them or check up on them. You still need to love yourself unconditionally. And isn't that a trip that there are people out there, they get lots of messages. But do you know, even though they could get a lot of messages of love out there, it just takes one person to send a negative message to ruin their whole day. Even though they could get lots of messages of good positivity, one negative comment can ruin their whole day. And that's where you got to let that shit go. Say, hey, I am amazing. I do the I am affirmations. I am amazing. I'm loving myself more and more and more. I love me. I don't have to have anybody put a stamp approval on what I do. I have God. God sees who I am. God knows everything about me. You don't know everything about me. Other people don't know what you're going through. Other people don't know all the great things that you do. Nobody sees what you're doing behind the scenes. That's why it doesn't matter what people think. And there's a lot of negative people. They need help. They need love. They send negativity out to ruin other people's day. That just is a mirror of what they're going through. They're feeling like crap. They say misery loves company. Well, they love spreading that like a virus. It has nothing to do with you. You're wonderful, made how you are, no matter how you think you see yourself. Don't focus on the flaws. Focus on all the positivity that you do, because none of us are perfect. It's okay that you don't have it all figured out, because nobody does. So I love you so much. I got to get going because I only get so much time in this room. But you need to love yourself. Don't worry about people that's not reaching out to you. Say, you know what? It's a part of healing. You need to get healed. If you don't love yourself fully, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. So I'm not here to put a guilt trip on you and thinking that, overnight you're going to fully love yourself. No. Take each day and say, I am amazing. Think of all the good qualities that you have as a human being. Write down a list, all the positive. Forget about the negatives. We got enough people pointing out those in our life. Hang on. But focus on all the positive stuff. Who are you behind the scene when nobody's looking? Now if you are a person that's doing a lot of stuff that you're not pleased with, guess what? You can work on that. It's okay. I'm not here to put a guilt trip on you. It's okay. We all got to start somewhere. We all have a lot of cleaning up to do. There's some people waiting for Jesus to come back and they have no clue that they got a lot of work to do yet. It doesn't happen that easy like they think. Oh yeah, Jesus come back in the clouds, the rapture. But you got a lot of cleaning to do still. So I love you. You've got to love yourself. And if somebody doesn't call you, don't take it to the heart. If somebody doesn't respond to your message, don't take it to the heart. And it's easy to say, I'm letting go of that. I'm letting go of that. You know why? Because it's the matrix. I understand that it's just a test. It's just testing you out to see how you're going to respond. Are you going to respond in a negative way and get upset with people and, ruin your whole day because somebody didn't respond back to you? Or are you going to turn that around and say, no, I'm not having it anymore. I love myself. If they don't respond to me or react to me or send me a message, it's okay. I'm not going to let them ruin my day. Okay? So realize it has nothing to do with you. That means you just got to go within and say, I love myself. They're going through, we don't know what they're going through. You know, we don't know, and we don't need to know. We could send love their way. We could, you know, be concerned about them, but focus on yourself. Know that God loves you. That, you know what? You understand, if you don't have anybody out there that you don't think loves you, you're always loved by God. God loves you unconditionally. You know, that's why a lot of people have pets. Pets love them. You know, cats and dogs. They love their masters, their owners unconditionally. It's amazing how many people have a pet, you know, and that really helps people to heal. You know, they feel loved by their pet. It makes them not feel so lonely and so not loved because their pets are there and the pets know what you're dealing with. They feel your energy like no other. They are so adorable. Dogs and cats, they know. I know that they know. I've had cats and dogs, and they know if I was having a shitty day. You know, they made me feel good because they came over and they wanted a pet, and that's their way of saying, hey, I know God made those animals for us to feel unconditional love, and that you got to feel that way with yourself, you know. So forget about people that don't make you feel like sunshine. You got to make yourself feel like sunshine. You know, you got to appreciate who you are and love every aspect of you, and not to worry about what other people, you know, they got their own shit that they're going through. So don't take it so heavy on yourself. You don't know what other people are going through. So you need to love yourself because it's just a test. It's getting you prepared. So I love you. This is Starlight, sending lots of love out to all of you. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, give me a thumbs up. And you can leave me a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. Plus, you could share my videos with your family or friends. And don't forget the notification bell. And check out my playlist. And you can also find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman, Starlight. Thank you for watching. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.